you, High Point, North Carolina. All right, y'all, it is the bottom of the hour. Thank y'all so much. Keep putting in the chat where y'all are zooming in from. We still letting people in from the waiting room. Also, your Greek letter organization. My name is Amanda Owens, and I am zooming in from the heartbeat of the Gulf Coast, Mobile, Alabama. I am also a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I am going ahead and pivot out the way to my sister in success, who is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Y'all, she is a top income earner in the 0.1% of income earners of our opportunity with a organization well over 9,000 business partners worldwide. Y'all, she loves helping people, has helped people make six figures, and she is making $500,000 on an annual basis. Can I tell you that this diamond in the rough is actually blazing the trail for others to find financial freedom, and also put on this call on tonight for you to see how fraternities and sororities are actually able to create their own lane and supplementing their income as well. Love to bring to the line five-star director, Mrs. Latoria Mayberry McCombs. Do we have you on tonight?
I am here. I am here. Can you hear me and can you see me?
I can take it away.
Well, thank you so much for that gracious introduction and welcome me, everyone on the Zoom. Y'all give it up. Give some flames. Give some hearts for Miss Amanda Owens. Y'all, she is a one-star director inside of this opportunity that you're about to hear about, which means that she has an organization well over 100 individuals. She's in the top 1% of the company, doing some amazing things inside of this opportunity. The first director in Mobile, leading the charge there, helping people become financially free, really dedicated, a servant leader, not only for her team, but the big team. Thank you, Miss Amanda Owens, for opening up this Zoom on tonight and welcoming the guests. Guests, you're back for round two. I know some of y'all are back for round two. I know. I know you won't hear round one. Don't you ain't even got to tell me. You still trying to make a decision if this is for you, and you just need to hear from some other people. I knew it. I felt it in my spirit. That's why we said part two of the Divine Nine. Maybe you needed to hear from some gentlemen, but these gentlemen that you're about to hear from tonight, I'm going to go ahead and pre-warn you. Y'all ready for this? Go ahead and strap your seatbelts because you're going to hear from some dynamic individuals. These fellows are going to bring it tonight and going to unpack some information that's going to really, truly change your life for the rest of your life. I don't know if anybody in the chat looking for a lifestyle upgrade. If so, put in the chat, upgrade my lifestyle. Maybe you're looking for a bank account upgrade. You want to increase your finances for 2025. Anybody that have been talking to me, been listening to me, I've been saying we're going to do more than survive in 2025. We're about to thrive. And we're about to unpack a blueprint to help you thrive in 2025. So let me go ahead and introduce this panel for you on tonight, because these gentlemen, they were already crunk before we even got on here. Yeah, they were. Even while y'all were in the waiting room. So they are ready to go. Look, I told you, they done brought up their cameras before I even got started. So let me go ahead. Y'all telling me to be quiet, guys. So let me go ahead and introduce to you all the panel we got for tonight. Y'all, I'm going to start out there in Charlotte, North Carolina with this gentleman out here. Y'all, this gentleman, he really don't need any introduction. He's no stranger to success because he has 30 years as a men custom clothier. Y'all, 30 years. He designed men's suits. So y'all men, I know y'all like to look good. Well, he's one of the ones that help most of our men look good right here on the planet. He's a husband. He's a father. He's a 3-star founding director who became the evidence before was any evidence of success. In the first 40 days and 40 nights, he became a director of a team of 100 people get positioned inside of this opportunity. Y'all, he currently wears that sapphire ring, which indicates that he's earning $100,000 a year. Y'all put this in the chat, part-time, part-time. And he's a member of Kappa. I'm gonna let him tell you because I like him to give you the rest of it. Hey, Mr. David Washington, how are you on today? I was about to tell the rest of your story, but I'm gonna stop right there. How are you on today?
I'm incredible and getting better each and every second. I'm excited to be part of this distinguished panel, and I'm representing the distinctive fraternity of Kappa Alpha Psi, Fraternity Incorporated, and I'm delighted to be a part of this panel on this evening.
Well, thank you so much. And we're going to jump in and get started, but I definitely wanted you to give a little bit of that. I'm going to go out there. I know he told me don't put him in the middle, but he won't be in the middle long. I'm definitely going to put him in the end too. But right now, I'm going to put you in the middle of these Kappas. This gentleman right here, and I ain't going to tell y'all probably can already tell, but he is actually out of that Baltimore, Maryland area, but he's from California. You're going to know when he started talking because he's straight and no chaser. Y'all, he is a principal of an elementary school, but he's a husband. He's a father. He's a founding director too, who became the evidence before it was any evidence of success. I think this gentleman has recruited at least 100 individuals by himself. He's a part of the Century Club, the 80, he's a part of 1K Club, the 80/80 Club, 4-star director with a team of well over 1,500 individuals. Mr. Damian Goins, how are you on today?
Hey, on the top and looking up. Excited to be here to share this platform with these amazing giants and yourself to simply educate, elevate, and motivate those who are looking for 2025 to be their year. And we just here to be the blueprint to show them that its success is inevitable for them. And so shout out to all the brothers of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, often imitated, never duplicated. We in the building and we here to serve.
Awesome. Give us a little smile. Look, give us a little smile. They looking at you like, man, he really come for it, right? Well, this gentleman as well, he's from Atlanta, Georgia, from Baltimore, right? From the Upland, Maryland area, but now he lives in Atlanta, Georgia. Everyone, this gentleman, he is retired federal agent of 33 years. Yeah, he's very serious. Not only is he serious about locking people up, but he's serious about changing people's lives. He's a minister at his church. But listen, he earned 6 figures, just like these gentlemen, on a part-time basis. 6 figures part-time, $100,000 a year annually. But now he currently sports the diamond ring, which indicates he's earning over $500,000. One of the top 10 income earners in all of Planet Marketing, 3-star director with an organization of well over 5,400 individuals. So been 18 years in the travel industry. Mr. Gregory Scott, how are you on tonight?
Miss Latoya Mayberry, I am doing amazing. I'm thrilled to be here among these giants, and thank you for putting this platform together. So much needed because we, as members of the Divine Nine, myself, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, we have been leaders in our community. We have been leaders in our churches. We have been leaders politically. We've been leaders on our jobs. And now we are leaders in the realm of entrepreneurship. And man, it is so plentiful here. We want to make sure that nobody misses the opportunity to join us. So thank you so much, Miss Latoya Mayberry McCombs.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Everybody put in the chat, thank you to the person that invited you, because he took the words right out of my mouth. They thought of you enough of you not to let you miss this. They didn't want you to miss this. They wanted you to see some distinguished gentlemen who are really taking the industry by storm. So we're going to kick it off. And I'm going to go to Mr. Washington first, because 30 years as a men custom clothier, very successful in your industry. What inspired you to get involved in the travel industry? And how has it shaped you in your personal or professional journey? You're muted. Let me unmute you. Make sure. Did it work? Okay, try it again.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
First of all, I was introduced to this industry back in 2005. As was mentioned, by profession, I'm a custom clothier of over 30 years. And part of my journey or my introduction into the industry of travel stemmed as a result of my business. I was already traveling. I was traveling on behalf of servicing my clients. I have clients throughout the country, which requires me to travel from time to time to service. So when this was introduced to me, it just simply made sense. It was a product, first of all, a product that had universal appeal and demand. And it was a product that we were already using whether we wanted to or not. So as a businessman, a business owner, it just simply made sense for me to monetize a product that I was already utilizing. So that's what led me to the travel industry over 18 years now.
And I love it because millionaires say, listen, whatever you enjoy doing, it just makes sense to make money from it, right? So if you enjoy travel, why not let it become an industry where you can make money? That's a millionaire mindset. Mr. Greg Scott, the same question. 33 years as a federal agent, you got many promotions, much success inside your career. What made you look at something else? And why travel? Okay. You're on mute too. I don't know why this is going on mute.
No, all right. So, Ms. McCombs, the reality for me was, being in law enforcement, it was a noble career because you're servicing the citizens of a community. And for me, I was serving the citizens of the United States of America as a federal agent. And so a lot of responsibility, a lot of weight on my day-to-day journey because it came with a lot of responsibility. But my biggest responsibility was to my family and my future. And so I grew in my maturity to the point where I said to myself, you know what? I'm doing well now, but I had to be in search of that next chapter because one chapter is always going to be closing. And so it's what you do at the close of one chapter to get into the next chapter of your life that's going to make a difference. And so I was literally looking for something several years before I reached that time where I said I was going to retire. And I found it in the travel industry because it made sense. The reality for me is I grew up in the inner city of Washington, D.C., two-parent household. They made a lot of sacrifices for me. But travel was not something that we did, uh, except going on what my parents call vacation to a farm in North Carolina. How many of y'all on here know that your parents lie to you every now and then, right? That wasn't vacation, that was work. And so the travel industry made sense as I continued to grow and mature. I wanted to be a part of it because it was the number one industry in the world. Listen, these champions, including yourself, we're not chasing number two. We're not chasing number three. We're going after what is number one. And if travel is the number one industry in the world and it makes sense, we know that it can absolutely positively make dollars. Ms. McCombs?
That's so good. That's so good. Because people will look at, you on the outside and say, okay, he's doing very well. He's doing well, 33 years, making some great money. What made him look at something else? So that was great. Mr. Damian Goins, I'm going to throw the same question to you, but you know what? I want you to wrap it up with something else. Because again, I've seen your success. And as I hear you train and coach around the planet, it's so powerful how you impart in people the importance of diversifying their income. But most men will look at this opportunity and they'll say, and then travel, no, this ain't for me. So if you don't mind, end it with that, answering that question as well.
Absolutely. So once again, great evening. And once again, my pleasure to share this platform with these tremendous giants. And so we're dispelling the myth that men can't come together, that Kappas and Qs can't do all in the same place. How many, it's just a 1911 night, right? So just type 1911 in the chat. So for me, Director Combs, it was real simple. As an elementary school principal doing the field of education over the past 2 decades, I saw the landscape of education change. See, back when I started, Ms. Combs, when the school used to call the house, kids were in trouble. Now when the school calls the home, the school's in trouble. And somebody say, so things are changing. And I found myself in a situation as an educator, and shout out to all the educators joining tonight that are especially part of Divine Nine, right? Is that we have a capped and very static income. So from July 1 to June 30th, educators make the exact same paycheck every 2 weeks. No matter if you're dealing with difficult parents, you're dealing with difficult kids. If you're an excellent teacher and your kids' scores go up, how many of you know there's no benefit to hard work? So when I saw travel, as Director Scott just shared, and here's the reality, if you are a member of the Divine Nine and you're an active member of your organization, how many of you know it requires you to travel? You're going to go to districts, regionals, the conclave, right? Your Duboulet. And so we were going to monetize what we were already doing. And so that drove me into it already. And how many of you know every family wants to enhance their next generation's lifestyle? As Director Scott said, and I know Director Washington can attest to, for many of us, vacation was grandma's house. You packed your stuff up, you went down the street, stayed with her, and you called that vacation because you weren't sleeping in your own bed. Come on, somebody, if you know what I'm talking about, just say, I know. But now, vacation for us, the Scott household, the Washington household, the McCombs household, the Goins household, we get to now get passport stamps. See, if we really want to be honest and unveil this, some of us remember some other stamps, Director Scott, for the government, but they wasn't passports. And so now we traded those stamps for passport stamps, and we now get to expand the mind. And so when you talk about diversifying, right? How many of you know one income in 2025 is not just important, but it's necessary? Because one stream of income is dangerous. Director McCombs, everybody carries around a spare charger. You have a spare tire. You have spare of everything else. Why don't you have a spare income?
Mm.
Because what we're seeing right now with the government is people are nervous about what the next 30, 60, 90 days look like because all of their eggs are in one basket. But see, now when you have another basket, and maybe Director Washington will create one and design it for you, right? You now have some options outside of what you're doing currently. And so tonight we just get to share with people, somebody just type options, and diversification gives you the ability to make money in different places so that you can position your family to go to different places. Director McCombs, back to you.
That's powerful, y'all. You have anybody got about 12 or 20 bills in your household, but you got one income to pay those bills. Now think about that. Let that sink in. Because what he said was so powerful. We got all these bills that's recurring in our household, but you got one income to pay all of those bills. But this opportunity that we're talking about tonight puts you in position with two debt-free companies to have access to 8 streams of income and one opportunity and still keep doing what you're doing, but owning a travel agency as well as the power of network marketing coupled together. Y'all, this is the game changer. So, Mr. Scott, I'm going to go to you. And I want all three of y'all to answer this question. With the current rise in the economy and persistent inflation challenges, because we see it happening every time we have a change in presidency, what happens, y'all? Things go up, things change, and people are not ready for this change. Why do you believe it is critical for individuals to diversify their income streams and to embrace entrepreneurship as a strategy for financial security and growth? Wait a minute.
You know what, Ms. McCombs, the reality is one stream of income is too close to no streams of income. Diversification is critical because everybody on here on tonight, everybody that is listening, everybody has their own hopes, their own dreams, their own desires. And to create those, it's not necessarily going to happen with one stream of income. It's just not. And so when you can create extra streams of income, you have more money to move into so many different places. Here's the reality. All of us are locked into planet marketing, but we have other things, other philanthropic things that we might want to do. We have other goals for our immediate household that we want to reach. We have perhaps other business endeavors that we might want to fuel using the money here to fuel those endeavors and being able to create something that we don't want it to ever be a catchphrase, creating a legacy for our family, for our children, for our children's children. And so the ability to diversify your income is critical because if you don't, you've got one basket and that's it. You can't diversify one stream of income. You've got to have multiple things going for yourself in order to help yourself to get to your next level and the future generations that you're responsible for to help catapult them to their next level at the same time. So business just makes sense. These are business principles.
I love it. You know, I meet people around the world, Mr. Washington, that is one paycheck away from broke. And then they tell me, you know, well, I don't have time. You one paycheck away from broke, but you don't have time. Let's talk about that with the economy and where we are. Let me get you.
One thing, Director McCombs, is this, that, oftentimes we tend to live in a world where, we're swimming in a pool that's a precarious pool, which simply means that our life is contingent or dependent upon someone else giving us the thumbs up to excel. Well, we didn't want to put ourselves in that position because we understood that that's a very volatile position to be in. And we never wanted to put someone in charge of our destiny. And what this has done for us, it has put us in a position that enabled us to really, really benefit from so many different ways. As Director Goins mentioned, being, educationally advanced as a result of travel. One of the things I love about this, when I looked at this opportunity and I got involved, was as a business owner, the tax laws are designed for those who own businesses. If you don't own a business, then you are limited in terms of the tax benefits or breaks that you have access to. Another thing is that the ability to leverage. I love the fact that we have the ability to leverage. Why is that so important? Because if God allows us to wake up in the morning and then go to sleep at night, he blesses each and every one of us with 24 hours. No one has 25 hours. No one has 30 hours. We've got to do what we can do in 24 hours. But having the ability, if you work for someone, they're taking your hours and duplicating that with other individuals as well. We have that opportunity to play in that field now. Leverage, duplication, positioning ourselves to not only, have a business, but build an empire. And that's why we're so excited about why the future looks so bright for those who dare to bet on themselves as a result of this opportunity, Director McCombs.
Man, we depend on someone else to give us a thumbs up. Mr. Goin, that was good. That was good. Mr. Goin.
Yeah, see, following those two gentlemen are very difficult because they're so eloquent and profound in their articulation of points that are so, as they pontificate. You got to watch those Kappas when they're presenting, right? But what I will say when you talk about diversification is understand that diversification is critical for stability. Let me give it to you this way. How many of you know that many of us, Director Washington, have never learned how to ride a unicycle? Because it is very hard to balance. And that's what many of you are doing with your finances. You're trying to balance your entire life on one stream of income. Some of you may be on a bicycle. There's a little bit more, but everybody right here can look down on your knee or elbow and find some scars and scratches of when you fell off on that bicycle because there were maybe two ways that you were making money. But what if you had an ability to be on an ATV with four wheels? How many of you know you ain't falling off on an ATV? And what I love about our business venture that we have at our disposal with our company, Planet Marketing and the Teletravel, Director McCombs, it's not one, not two, not four or five, but there are 8 streams of income. Somebody just type 8 in the chat area. That if that's the best diversification plan that you can think around, because many of you are trying to go look and get it in different places, right? In the field of education, people have 4 and 5 jobs. Let me share this with you. Jobs were not made to get you wealthy. They were made to get you exhausted. And many of you understood because you were chasing going to the second job. It was just paying for the gas to get to the first. But what if you can do something from the comforts of your home, the beaches of the world, an airplane, a Starbucks, a Panera Bread, and you had 8 additional ways to make money doing the thing that you already enjoy? So diversification is critical, Director McCombs, because that's how you stabilize. Think about a table that only would have one legs. What would dinner look like for you? And some of you are creating a mess on the floor because you don't have enough ways to benefit your family and feed them with a stable table.
Ooh, that is so good. Y'all think about this. I mean, this is just a reality check. And we're gonna be transparent with you all tonight because these are gonna be some transparent conversations. You got to know when to pivot. And Mr. Scott, you talked about pivoting. You talked about getting close to the point where you were about to retire and you were thinking about, stability. You got a great paycheck every single day, but you had to pivot. So let's talk about this. What are some challenges that you had? When you first came inside of network marketing and travel, y'all, when I say this oftentimes, when travel met network marketing, it was the perfect marriage. It was perfect marriage. And the reason it was because network marketing has created more millionaires than any corporate industry, more millionaires. And I'm proud to say even more women have made, more money in network marketing than they have in corporate America. So let's talk about that, Mr. Scott. When you pivot and you came inside this industry, what challenges did you have?
Well, I'm not going to make any excuses for anyone. Definitely not going to make any excuses for myself, because the reality is people are busy just being busy. They're not being productive. And so I had to look at my own situation. Listen, I was a federal agent when I first came into this industry. I was working the streets of Baltimore, Maryland. Put that in its right context. You will understand what I'm talking about, because it's a totally different animal from Washington, D.C., where I came from. And so the reality for me is having a career where every single day I was leaving my house not knowing if I was going to return. That's real. And so I'm constantly thinking about, at the time, I was constantly thinking about my future. And I said, you know what? I've probably got less years ahead of me than I have behind me. And so I knew that I was healthy. I knew that I was in my right mind. And I knew that I had the ability to fill my inner tank up to go and to go after something different while I was still working full time. And so I had to make sure that I was working on my job with integrity. Why? Because lives were on the line. If I messed up, if I did not show up, somebody was going to get hurt. Somebody could potentially die. And I never wanted that to be on my conscience. But the other part of the reality is I felt like once the day was done and I said, I'm done, it was about my future. And so I worked this business as if my life depended on it. And now looking back in time, here's what I realized it did. The grind is real. Everybody on here has the same 24 hours. But guess what? Here's the pivot. What are you doing with your 24? You're up, you're working your 9 to 5. Man, I can't put anything else on my plate. uh, I'm tired. I've got other stuff going on. If it's not producing income, what are you doing? And so I had to ask myself those questions. How many of y'all talk to yourself? Right? Here's the biggest point that I talk to myself about. I look at my bank account and I talk to myself. It's not enough in here. It's not going to be enough in 2025 where we are. 2030 is coming. I'm creating income for 2030 money, for 2030 bills, for 2035 bills. I'm creating income for my ability to not just be well, but to potentially be wealthy. Listen, if wealth is available, are you going to go in door number one where wealth is? Or are you going to go in door number 2 and 3 where it's very questionable? And so that's what fueled the pivot for me, because I knew I had to do something significant. And my wife tells a story often, Mr. Goins. She says, he never went to sleep. He fell asleep. That was why the pivot was so important to me. And so getting up early, going to bed late, it was worth it.
And some people fall asleep at their job, working their job, and then they come home and don't want to do nothing for their legacy.
Absolutely.
That's so good. All right, Mr. Washington, same thing. But what would you tell your younger self? What do you see now that you wish you had a saw sooner? Because some people on here are looking at this opportunity, and you can answer that question too. But they're looking at this opportunity and they're saying, well, they got all the kind of excuses. I call them excuses, and I call them objections. What would you, because I'm sure you had those too. So I'm gonna throw that to you.
Well, Director McCombs, I've always been of the mindset of always having a plan B in place. Always growing up, even when I didn't have any significant bills growing up, even in college, I had I had several things going on at the same time because I always play this game. I've grown up playing this game called What If?
Mm-hmm.
The game I created myself. I created this game, and it's called What If? And I said, now that I am a business owner of 30 plus years running my clothing business, even day one, I said, what if something happened to me? What if for some reason my health failed me? Then what? What if I happen to fall and break my arm and I'm unable to measure my client or make their clothing? What if? I've always asked that question because I always wanted to be proactive and not reactive. And that's what a lot of us, we put ourselves in a reactive state, which simply means we do really well handling crisis. We live in a world of crisis. Crisis management is many of our names. Why be placed in a situation where you having to work under duress as opposed to being proactive and putting yourself in a position so that if and when something happens, you're in position because you already played that out many, many moons ago in anticipation of the possibility. None of us are in a place where we have all the money that we need. Do you realize one law, one pivot in government, one decision made or change can change can change our situation in a matter of a night? One decision. So why put yourself in the hands of someone who can make a decision that can change your course and put you in a situation that is uncomfortable when you have the opportunity to be proactive and live in a space that allows you to create a dynasty, create an empire so that you can leave your family with a legacy? It only makes sense, Director McCombs.
And what if? Y'all put it in the chat. What if? See, men who are head of the household, they always say, what if? They're not looking for the wives to do it. They're not looking for somebody else to do it. They saying, I got to do it. So what if? I can't be in a place. Let me just go on, Miss. Because I want to say something I might not have the ability to say. I'm gonna let y'all say.
No, I think what Director Scott and Director Washington shared was so profound, and I want everybody to just take a moment to think around what those two gentlemen have just posited for you as you evaluate your lifestyle. Director Scott said he looked at his bank account. Here's what I want everybody to consider. Let's take an educational moment. If you did not receive another paycheck, how much longer could you sustain your lifestyle? So when you talk about pivoting, if your answer to that is less than 6 months, somebody say plan A didn't work. Mm-hmm. And see, I want to apologize on behalf of school districts around the country because we set you up for failure. Because how many of you know none of you have used the Pythagorean theorem since you've been out of school? So we teach you a lot of things that are not useful to keep you in the system. School was designed to put you into factories to be workers. That's why your desk was in rows, so that you can be on the assembly line. And it caused you, Director Scott, somebody say they robbed you of the ability to think. Okay. And that's why a gentleman wrote a book that says think and grow rich. It didn't say work and get rich. And see, many of us have absolved and sort of put ourselves in a position that we said, and we start saying these things. I don't need all of that. Director Scott, somebody say pivot. Because many of us, when we're looking at this, we have to unlearn to relearn. Because some of the things we know about finances was just wrong. And this is how the people who taught it to us, Director McCombs, were not doing us harm. It's just what they knew, right? Our grandparents and great grandparents were coming out of a struggle. And sometimes we glorify the struggle, right? We talk about now in today's society, I'm getting it out the mud. But you shouldn't have to get out the mud if the people before you built something, you should be building on them. You shouldn't have to be starting at ground zero again. That's what I love about what we do at this company. We can leave a legacy. The Washington generation aren't getting it out the mud because how many know he's already poured concrete? The Scots are not getting it out the mud because how many know he has concrete in the wall? You should not be sending your kids to have to struggle the way you struggled because you made a pivot in life. And what I realized for me was you asked me, why would I pivot? Because in my field of education, I saw too many people, Director McCombs, retire on Friday and come back to work Monday as a retiree hire after serving 30, 40, 45 years with the school district. They had to come back to work. So how many of you know, and it was the misconception, right? Because Director McCombs, we say when you get to 50, you at the midway point. How many of you know that's not accurate? Once again, it's a myth, right? That we bought into.
Right.
Because if life expectancy, Director McCombs, is 70, how many of you know you're at the halfway point at 35? So if you're on this line with us tonight and you're over the age of 35, you better be typing the word pivot because you have just as much time in front of you as you do behind you. And what you do with it is going to be critical. And we have made the decision to get in the driver's seat of what our future will look like and not just keep being in the passenger seat. Because if you are on a job, somebody else determines your salary. Somebody else determines you've gotten a raise. And some of us, Director McCombs, have been in a space and place where we have put in the effort, we've put in the energy, and then they turned around, asked you to train somebody, and then had them become your supervisor. And you had no recourse. And so here, you get to get paid off your effort of combining. I get to sit with a Gregory Scott and glean from his knowledge. I get to sit with a David Washington, glean from his knowledge. Because see, how many of you know you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time and miss it? See, we happen to be at the right place at the right time. How many of you know your apartment, old school Director McCombs, and I give it back to you? Many of us, your parents used to tell you, show me your circle and I'll tell you who you are. See, I get to sit with a gentleman making $500,000. Mr. Washington making another six figure. You making my circle is different. And some of you need to pivot because the people you are around are holding you prisoner to your past and they're not pouring into your future.
Whoa.
And Ms. McCombs, listen, I think it's time for us to dig a little deeper with something that Mr. Goins said, because he's talking about being system dependent. We've got to reprogram this mind. Now, let me do a disclaimer. It's a real simple disclaimer. We are not bashing anybody's career. We're not bashing anybody's job. But when you know better, you want to scream to the roof on the rooftops. There's another way. Oh, I got a good government job. I'm good. No, you're not. You're not good. We lived through something catastrophic. This generation, everybody that's on here, lived through something that was catastrophic. Back in 2020, those were uncertain times for so many people. That was your warning back in 2020. We're in 2025. That was your warning to say, I thought I was good with my good government job, but I wasn't. I thought I was good, with corporate America, but I wasn't. And man, if the last 48 hours in the United States of America has not resounded the alarm in your heart and in your mind of uncertainty, you don't have a pulse. And if you're feeling like, woe is me, you're allowing yourself to be a prisoner to a situation that you can control. But you can't keep doing the same thing that you've been doing. You've got to do something different because insanity says keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different end. We gonna make it somehow. No, you not. Because here's where it comes down to. I promise you this. When it comes to being system dependent, there's going to be two classes. It's going to be the haves and it's going to be the have-nots. There's not going to be any middle ground. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I promise you, if you're alive and you're on this Zoom, you're going to see it.
That's right.
And you're going to experience it if you do nothing. I'm sorry, Ms. McCombs. Thank you.
Good. I'm going to say most of us are programmed to be system dependent, and we're not, that's just the way it is. But y'all said something powerful. Look at your circle. Look who's in your circle. When you post a promotion on your job, you get a whole lot of congratulations. Amen. Thank you. But when you post a promotion in your business, most people are not saying anything. And you making more money in your business than you making on your job. But we're system programmed that the promotion on the job is way bigger than your promotion in your business. When the promotion in your business is paying you more than your job. It happens. But now it's time to change your mind. Everybody said, change your mindset. Change your mindset. And if the circle that you in is really hyping that up, you're the person to change the mindset in that circle. Mr. Washington, I'm just going to throw it to you because you may want to talk about systems. You may want to talk about what Mr. Goins said. And then I'm going to go with Mr. Goins with we're going to do two more questions after that.
Well, one of the things, you all gave some amazing points, Director Goins, Director Scott, Director McCombs, some amazing points. And one of the things, we had our last convention, Tim Grover, said something that really stuck with me. He said something that stuck with me. He was our keynote speaker at our last convention in Orlando, Florida. And he talked about your heartbeats. He talked about your heartbeats. He made that point that everyone, has a heartbeat. But your heartbeat, once your heart beats, then it never recycles. Once your heart makes that tick and that talk, it doesn't recycle. That's time that's being taken away from your future. And oftentimes we have people in our circle who aren't qualified to be in our circle. We have people in our circle who just, who are just abusing our time, and we're giving them permission to do so. And if you're in my circle and we're not talking about things productive, constructive, things that can allow you and help me advance, things that can stretch and provoke thought for me to be a better version of myself, then I need to take an assessment of that circle, and I need to prune that circle. Some of you are giving individuals too much headspace. You're letting them rent your mind for free. And as a result of that, the return is putting you in the red. So what we're talking about right now is being in a circle that allows you to be stretched, to push you to become a better version of yourself, and to, as I often say, each one, reach one, teach one, and elevate one. That's what we're all about. And if your community isn't promoting that, then you need to assess your community. We're winning over here. We're winning over here. And we want everyone who's willing to bet on themselves to win with us. And that's what we're doing. We're not telling you to get rid of your job because your job is keeping food on your table. But what we're saying is compound your returns. Compound your returns. And what we have over here is a vehicle that is enabling us to compound our return. And as a result, we're seeing the world in the process. Director McCombs.
And I feel it in my spirit, Mr. Goins. I feel it in my spirit. Even though y'all done gave some powerful comments, I feel it in my spirit where someone's saying, they just, they really want to just make some more money. They ain't really think about us being successful because this is a pyramid. How is this really something that I can benefit from? We hear they success, but what about me? I want you to comment on that.
I love that. First of all, this was, we're open to everyone, but if you're a member of Divine Nine, how many of you know you're supposed to have that talented 10th mindset? And so if you go in looking for failure, how many of you know you started out with on the wrong foot anyway? And so what I love about this is one, let's dispel this myth of pyramid, right? There's the two different things, and I want to make sure we're clear about pyramid structures versus pyramid schemes, right? Right? We know business has pyramid structures. There has to be a leader. Your house is in a pyramid structure. You have a head of that house. There's some people that submit to your authority, and then there's the other children that submit to that, right? In business, there's a CEO. There's senior vice presidents, their managers, supervisors, and then all the employees. That is the structure of business in a capitalistic society. What many people have been misinformed and underinformed about is pyramid schemes or Ponzi schemes, however you want to call them, they're illegal. And so, what I share with people, Director McCombs, is number one, no illegal business that you ever known in the history of mankind has ever received a tax return from the government for doing their illegal business. So somebody say check.
Chat.
Number two, billion-dollar companies, the Marriott, Disney, Royal Caribbean, the Ritz-Carlton, Hertz Rent-A-Car, would not risk their billion-dollar brands to align themselves with an illegal business. Somebody type check. When the company pays Director Scott, Director Washington, Director McCombs, and myself on the first of every month, how many of you know the bank has never come back and said this money is not authentic? Somebody type check. Our company, Planet Marketing, because of the economic injection that it has done for the state of Georgia, Atlanta specifically, it has earned a proclamation from that city. How many of you know governments, municipalities do not give proclamations to illegal businesses? And then our host agency, IntelliTravel, our founder, co-founder of that company, sits on the board of the Cruise Line International Association. One of four individuals out of all of the people in the travel space. We have one of four. How many of you know he's on a Mount Rushmore? And they don't put you and elevate you to that level of distinction if you are somebody who's not reputable. And so sometimes we allow our programming and our conditioning that we got from people who were broke to keep us from chasing wealth. Because if you look at financial literacy, how many of you know Warren Buffett does network marketing? Do you trust him? How many know Les Brown does network marketing? Do you trust him? Because people understand that whether you have a GED or a PhD, this is an even playing ground. See, in other spaces, all those alphabets after your name mean something. How many of you know the only one you have to have here is these four letters, WORK? And if you have the ability to work, everybody has the ability to go as far, as long as you desire. And that's why I love the opportunity that you have to put your family in a position. When I heard Director McComb, they said you have, everybody write this word down for yourself, unlimited income potential. I had never heard, Director Washington, unlimited and income ever put together. And so it is an anomaly of the brainchild of our founder, Mr. Donald Bradley, to put you in a position where you can make 500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000, or 5 million. Because how many of you know we're just really disrupting the industry because in less than 10 years, we've already created 5 millionaires. And that doesn't happen in the industry. Here's the last question. Now I'll throw it back to you, Ms. McCombs. I want each of you to think about this. When you talk about, oh, I don't know if I want to do it. If you were to work double the amount of time that you've been on your job, would it ever position you to earn $1 million? See, some of us are wishing, we're praying, but how many of you know the reality is it's not probable?
Yeah.
But here, Director McCombs, as you said, Director Washington still works full time, still a business owner, but on the side, earning over 6 figures. I am still a elementary school principal. I promise you, I got the crying kids today to prove it. But on a part-time basis, somebody just type part-time. Who would love to make $100,000 part-time? Director Scott is retired now, but I remember when he was coming back, running the streets, creating people, getting them safe, and running to meetings. Part-time, making 6 figures, now making multiple 6 figures, because we saw, this is the word, Director McCombs, and I'm done. We had vision. And we attached our vision to our founder's vision. And because he had the provision, okay.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, y'all. We wrapping this up, but Mr. Scott, we got to talk about residual income. We got to talk about that before we wrap this up. And the reason I want you to talk about that is because, you know, you're making over 42,000 a month, probably about 60,000. Don't tell them I told you. Probably more than that. But anyway, the government wouldn't have never paid you that amount of money. You did $250,000 part-time. You know, you and I watched each other earn $250,000 part-time working, you know, our demanding jobs. But this money follows you. When you left your job, did you still keep that income? I'm gonna let you take it from there.
Well, you know what? When you know better, you do better. And I did what Mr. Goins said at the tail end. I followed the vision. I followed the vision and I followed the visionary who wanted to give people an opportunity, ordinary people like us, ordinary people, to create an extraordinary life and an extraordinary lifestyle for themselves, where you could be the kings and queens of your household. And so the reality is, residual income is the great equalizer. It is the great equalizer. In any business, I want to see where the residual income is going to be. I'm looking for the ROI. The reality is, yep, I made 6 figures within 17 months getting into this opportunity 9 years ago. 43 months, $250,000, right? I was able to retire my wife. Actually, she resigned. She donated her job back to the federal government because of residual income. And what did we do? We got out of debt. It took us 3 years to get out of over $100,000 in consumer debt. But here's one thing, when I knew I was in the right place, along the way, I saw the money coming in. I saw the lives that we were changing. Let's not miss that. Because what we're not going to do is be hypocritical here. We're not going to be hypocritical. And we're not going to be hypocritical to this opportunity. It's not just about the money that we're making, but the money that we're helping other people create for themselves. That's critical. So yes, we're making residual income, but we're showing other people how to do the same thing. We're causing them to walk in the same steps that we've walked in on this journey. I retired, Ms. McCombs, in December of 2020. By March of 2021, as a newly retired person, we hit $500,000. But here's where it hit me, because I can talk about what residual income is, but let me make it real when it comes to life. I retired in December of 2020. I did not get my first retirement check from the government until August of the next year.
Wow.
August, 8 months, no check.
Wow.
What y'all gonna do with that? I'm sorry, what are you all going to do with that?
Wow.
You know what you're gonna do with that? If that was you, you're gonna get right back in debt.
Or go back to work.
and you're going to go back to work. And guess what else I was doing, Miss McCombs? I was calling OPM saying, y'all going to give me my money. And I could do it with a smile on my face because I made a decision to create the residual income because one day it's going to rain at your house. It might not be today, but I promise you it's going to rain at your house. And it's going to be an unexpected tsunami of rainfall. Are you prepared? Residual income has prepared all of us for the storm that we are already, all of us on here are already preparing for the next one.
Mm-hmm. And that's good, Mr. Scott, because most people, honestly, they don't even have $2,000 in their savings account. Not even a bank account. But 8 months after retiring, before you get a check, I don't want nobody to miss this. 8 months, but you were prepared. Okay, we wrapping this up. Closing comments, Mr. Washington. Closing comments, Mr. Goin. I'm just gonna throw it to y'all. Then we're gonna take some questions. That was good.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott, for your
Oh,
transparency.
awesome. Again, I'm just excited to be. I mean, I'm amongst greatness here, and I'm excited just hearing the remarks. And one of the things that's so important, and I want everyone to know this, we all, we never have. Life is no rehearsal. Life is no rehearsal. So each and every day, you're on stage and you're having to make decisions that can impact your life, decisions that can put you in a compromising position each and every day, hundreds of thousands of decisions that we've made. And one of the things that I can appreciate about this industry and about what Mr. Bradley has put in place with Planet Marketing is the fact that this opportunity allows you to make up for lost time. Mm-hmm. This opportunity allows you to erase poor decisions. This opportunity allows you to accelerate your assets. That's what this opportunity does. In making a decision that can change your life for the rest of your life, and to be able to pass something down in the event something happens to you, your income continues to grow and continues to live, whether you are here or not, is worthy of strong consideration. And I'm so glad I was willing to bet on myself and show others how they are worthy of doing the same thing. Thank you so much, Director McCombs.
Thank you, Mr. Goins.
So once again, thank you for putting this together, being a servant leader, allowing us to share this platform with the D9 family and all those that are attached to us, friends, family, co-workers, colleagues, because how many we can do more together than we can do apart? And so at this phase, you want to really just do a real assessment. Director Washington said something I thought was so profound, and I hope everybody definitely captured it and did not miss it. He said, this life you're living is not a dress rehearsal. Just think about that. He said, you get an opportunity to make up for lost time. See, many of you are going into work early. You're staying there late. You're trying to have somebody recognize you. But here, you get to bet on you. Somebody just type bet on me. You get the opportunity to bring your skills, your talents, your gifts, because all of you have gifts inside of you. And many of them have been lying dormant because you're in a very box lifestyle. You're driving in a box, you live in a box, you work in a box. And so your thinking has becoming boxed in. Somebody say, break out that box. Director Scott told you he's making $500,000. And even though he had his life on the line day in and day out, they never would pay him that. Now he sits at home in his rocking chair in his house that he's built from the ground up and is able to make that and not have to put his life on the line, but enjoy the life he's created. So if you still have dreams, if you still have desires, if you're the person that says, if I only had a shot, ladies and gentlemen, Planet Marketing is that shot where you do not have to take all your dreams and gifts to the grave with you, but you can have them manifest before your eyes. With that, Director Combs, I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. Just even if I just came on this Zoom and I was just listening and never seen anything before in my whole entire life, seen anything else, this right here would make me say yes. You know why? Because some of us don't have a choice. And some of us have a choice, but we want more. And that's what I saw tonight in this conversation. An opportunity of a lifetime that must be seized during a lifetime of opportunity. You get an opportunity to be an entrepreneur in the largest and sexiest industry in the world, where you own your own independent travel agency, help other people do the exact same thing. And the cost, let me go ahead and put it out here, $200. Y'all, this has been the most $200 and best $200 investment I made in my life. $200. And then y'all can jump into this because, I talk to people and I ask them the question. I say, your best friend brought you this business, but you're questioning $200. But if she told you that there was a Louis Vuitton purse on sale for $200, what would you do? That friend on the other line said, I would go buy that purse. But she didn't told you she got a business for $200 that can change your life and upgrade your bank account, and you asking her for more information.
Director McCombs, if I could jump in right there, I'm going to even bring it on home because we said this was the D9 call specifically for those individuals, and we've invited some other guests. And I think all of us on the line, Director Scott, Director Washington, and yourself also being a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, if we're honest, Director Scott, when we see a hot piece of nail, how many we'll drop 200
Yes.
so that you can wear it back to homecoming. When it's your anniversary, your line tell you send 300 because we got to buy the latest sweaters, the latest jean jacket, because you want to represent for your year back on the yard. But how many of you know at homecoming over, that jacket go in the back of the closet and you almost may never wear it again? But a $200 investment that could change your whole financial bloodline. Many of you spent $200 at a football game for the playoffs, buying chips, hot dogs, to have people come celebrate teams that you don't even have investments in. And you call them your team, cheering loud, and you own no stock in that team. But let's talk about your real team, the people that bear your last name. What are you doing to win the Super Bowl for them financially? What are you doing to win the championship for them financially? You mean to tell me $200? Four $50 bills? How many know you spend that at Starbucks if you order some Ventas? So $200, don't let $200 be the thing that blocks you from the biggest blessing you could ever have.
I love it. And then your monthly, $59.90, $2 a day. You got 30 days. Come inside, try out this opportunity. If you decide it's not for you, you can definitely get your money back. We offer, the opportunity for you to succeed, a business in a box, an amazing opportunity with unlimited income. So questions, let's get some questions right quick, guys. I know we're a little over, so I'm gonna stop the recording right here. Yes, this is